It's Mr. Router, joined by psychic medium Liz Cross. Liz, how are you feeling?
I am doing well. How are you?
I wanted to see if we could talk to see how this goes. Bruce Willis, actor, comedian, songwriter, singer, harmonica player, and find out if his brain is able to do a mind probe or do we need to circumvent the way that his brain works?
Okay. Yeah. So, shall we try to mind probe him first?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what comes up.
Yeah, okay. I'm connected to him.
Okay, so Bruce
Um,
Willis was born in March 1955 in West Germany and raised in New Jersey. And he was in 2022, I think, diagnosed with aphasia and then more specifically prefrontal lobe dementia. And so does he know what's happening around him right now, or is he kind of
hmm,
unaware?
do you know what's happening around you? I mean, visually he sees what's happening. This is why I wanted to mind probe him. I wanted to see if maybe he did actually know what was going on, but there was, a gap from knowing and being able to comprehend. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Do you actually know what's going on around you? No, visually, it's like he's looking. It's like you're almost the best way to describe it is you're watching a show or watching the TV with no sound and no idea what's going on, but you're just watching it.
Okay. How about when he dreams? Does he regain an element of who he was in dreams?
Hmm. Do you regain elements of who you are in dreams? He's telling me he doesn't dream. So I'm going to ask one of his loved ones in spirit. Does he dream? Yes, he does dream. He has very vivid dreams, but is he connecting two and two together? Like, does he realize that he is the person in the dream? No. It's like watching that show or that movie, but with no idea what's going on.
And so he's unable to recognize who he is and unable to recognize his family members. They say there's a moment or a glimmer of, a sparkle in his eye where they try and have fond memories. Is he
Mm.
aware of what's happening
Are
with
you
his family,
aware?
who he is?
Or do you know that you are like Bruce Willis, the actor? No, he is totally disconnected from who he is. So let's ask his loved one in spirit. Does he know that he's Bruce Willis? No, I mean, they tell him who he is, right? You're
Is that
Bruce
his
Willis.
brother
They
who
even,
passed away from pancreatic cancer, or his mom, or his dad?
mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
why did he sign up for a life contract of, I'm going to be a great actor, then forget everything I ever did? What's the purpose there?
Mm. What was what is the purpose of being a great actor and having all this, like this fantastic life? And then forgetting about it towards the end. Why would he? Let me talk to his soul. Why would you put that in your contract, in your life plan? Because he wanted to disconnect. And I'm saying, what do you mean by disconnect? He wanted to disconnect from who he was. So it's almost like he's experiencing two separate lifetimes, but within one life, right? So it's so extreme.
So he made this as a soul contract, and there was nothing that could have been done genetically or supplementation wise that would have prevented this new aphasia from hitting him.
Hmm. Did you make this? I mean, did you know exactly what it was going to be? I mean, the soul knows exactly what it was going to be, but why would you? I'm struggling to understand, to be honest with you. And it isn't for me to understand, but I'm just trying to figure out like how to put it into words. So why this extreme? Why did you want these two extremes? I mean, I know you wanted to experience different, aspects of the lifetime. Why do you need to go through this? He just wanted to really experience this. I mean, does he recognize his children? No. He doesn't even remember who he is. It's almost like it's just a blip or a dream, a fantasy of who he was. But I just don't feel the soul is giving us the answer, the real, reason as to why they'd want to do this.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to figure out if this is an environmental issue, if this is a nutraceutical issue, deficiency, or because we always look for whether it's genetic, whether it was the environment, what caused the Alzheimer's, the dementia, whatever symptom. was there something he can point to in his lifetime that was the catalyst, or was it always ingrained to happen genetically?
I'm getting metals, exposure to heavy metals, toxins in the lifetime. Some brains are more sensitive than other brains. His brain is actually very sensitive. It's a brilliant brain. I mean, when it was functioning. Um,
Probably all that trauma is John McClane here in Die Hard and Die Hard 2, the best Christmas movie ever made. You can fight
mm,
me in the comments about that. So it was a chemical, I don't know, like maybe was it from, say he says chemical, but what does that mean? And what were the events? And was it ongoing or one event, singular event?
was it a singular event? No, it's the buildup of metals and toxins in the body. But I mean, he obviously had to have been very healthy. He had to have worked out, ate properly. And I'm getting very strongly, yeah, he did all those things. He watched what he ate, watched what he drank. He kept a very clean, for the most part, lifestyle. But his body was just not good at detoxing or filtering out toxins. I mean, it was, and that's a genetic predisposition. This inability to filter out the toxins properly. Now, did he go on cleanses? Yes, he did. He used to do cleanses all the time, but that something about this genetic predisposition would cling on to those metals in the body.
And it didn't allow them to leave, and that buildup came in the brain. Is that for all types of dementia or just his? Because we've
Mm.
seen that in Alzheimer's, we've seen that in other forms of
Mm.
dementia.
Is that in all types of dementia? Not all types. No, it's not just specific to him though. His brother had the same issue, but obviously it manifested in a different way.
Pancreatic cancer, I think his brother died of in
Mm.
2001.
Wow.
I might be wrong about that. I read it like years ago. So does his consciousness connect to his body anymore? I mean, how does it connect differently than it used to when he had knowledge of who he was?
Does his consciousness connect differently to his body? His consciousness has completely disconnected. So let's ask this question. Was that the goal of the soul to completely, yes, it was, completely disconnect the consciousness from the body, to where you have no thoughts. I mean, does he have any thoughts whatsoever? I'm getting a no. Like he really doesn't have any thoughts. What about, does he feel hungry? No. Does he feel thirsty? No. So as I tap into him today, um, he does not have the ability to feel hunger and thirst. Does he? I mean, I feel he eats because he's told to eat and he's told to drink, but does he feel those sensations? I'm getting a no.
Do other parts of his body have a consciousness connected to them, like a heart, maybe a liver, maybe a stomach, or has that also disconnected?
Mm. No, the organs have a consciousness, but I feel that the consciousness is minimized to the point of just mere survival. So where, I mean, because I've spoken to organs before loads of times,
Hmm.
people have me probe their organs, and you can, like, there's emotions stored in organs, or the organs have picked up trauma, maybe past life stuff. And what I'm picking up from his organs, again, it's this disconnect. It's just like, yeah, my heart is just beating, my lungs are, they're just breathing. So it's just doing the basic bodily functions. It doesn't actually have an opinion, a thought, it really doesn't.
What is the benefit from his soul? I mean, we said it's going to have two different lifetimes separate from the experience, but what is the benefit then?
Yeah, what is the benefit from that's what we need to find out. Thank you for that question. What is the benefit for the soul? The soul is saying, so I don't get too attached to being Bruce Willis, meaning some souls really get very attached to certain roles that they played during the lifetimes, right? And the soul wanted to go up, like cleansed when it does leave the earth plane, to be cleansed of being this phenomenal actor, this very talented person. So it's not clinging on to the life of Bruce Willis. It doesn't want to repeat, as it's talking to me now, this fame and fortune lifestyle. It wants to let that go. I mean, a lot of times when we talk to souls, they keep doing the same thing. They keep repeating the fame and fortune lifestyle, because they, that's what they love. That's what they know. This was a one-off for him. He has not been famous or had fortune in previous lifetimes. In fact, his soul is quite humble. He's been absolutely poverty stricken in most of his lifetimes, uneducated. And this was a very different lifetime. And the soul saying, well, I didn't want to cling on to this life. I didn't want to cling on that this is how I should be living each and every life from here on out. I actually want to go back to, poverty stricken, humble, having to, I feel like he worked hard in this lifetime, but after, so long, things came easy for him. The soul wanted to forget it and wanted him to just be relieved when he does cross over. So, and not cling on to Bruce Willis.
He's worth about $250 million now. And so that probably will carry on through his legacy. And I'm still confused about how many lifetimes has Bruce Willis had as a human being before the lifetime as Bruce Willis?
How many lifetimes has Bruce Willis had as a human being before Bruce Willis? About 250. So he's average. I mean, a lot of souls are, between 2 and 300. Human souls. He's average for a
And
human.
where does he fit on the ascension ladder? And what did the Bruce Willis role in his soul do towards that ascension, or this prefrontal aphasia do to that next level of ascension?
Where does his soul fit on that ladder? What level of ascension? I mean, he's average. He's at a 3. And the worst part about it is, because I just asked the question, well, are you ascending while you have this, is it Alzheimer's he has?
It's prefrontal aphasia, or
Oh,
FTD.
prefrontal aphasia. Thank you. Like, maybe you needed the consciousness to detach, and maybe the soul was doing some, magnificent ascending during this tail end. And I'm getting a no. Like, there's no ascension whatsoever, no consciousness expansion, obviously, because the consciousness is detached, but no rewiring, nothing. There's nothing going on whatsoever as far as like, growing spiritually. Because sometimes even if you're asleep, the soul can take off and find out information. I mean, still attached to your body, but it finds information that helps it spiritually, helps it grow. It meets with other souls on the astral plane. I'm not getting anything like that for him.
Okay, so who is the rallying group around, this FTD condition that maybe convinced him that it was going to be a great idea with great spiritual ascension, only to be left unrewarded and unfulfilled at the end of it?
Mhm.
I'm wondering if
Who's
there's like a group around there spreading misinformation.
No, it wasn't misinformation. It was, I see this as a one possibility. This is one option. Yeah, I'll look into it. I'll sign up for it. So, but did you sign up for it? When you signed up for it, did you know that you would not be growing spiritually? Yeah, the soul knew that. So I'm saying, well, is it because you wanted to have a break in, at the tail end of the human lifetime? You wanted to maybe have a rest and before you went into the spirit world, and maybe you have a lot of things to do up there. Is that part of the reason? And the soul is saying no.
This is his wife, his second wife, and she is one of his caregivers and a lot of other caregivers. So I wanted to see if we could ask her how she's feeling, how she goes about things day to day. She just had an interview with Diane Sawyer, and the book is coming out next month.
Hmm. Emma. Okay, I'll connect with Emma. Okay, she's a neurotic mess. Her energy is all over the place. She hates what is happening to him, what is happening to the family, and she's one of those people that likes to be able to fix other people, help other people, and it's very frustrating for her because there's nothing she can do at this point. It had gotten too far. It was beyond what she could do, what she could provide.
And so looking at her soul contract with Bruce Willis, have they been together before? And why did she sign up for this lifetime of fatalism?
Hmm. Have they had have they been together in past lives before? Oh yeah, they've had many past lives together. They're usually married, they have children, very poor. hardship, struggle, you know, really just doing the basics, cooking, cleaning, farming, building things. I just see them living very, very simplistic lives. So let's ask this question. Is it that the life of Bruce Willis, I'm asking the soul, was too complex? Yes. Now here we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So it was far too complex compared to what the soul normally does. And is that another reason you wanted to forget the lifetime? Yes,
Hmm.
because it likes to go back to basics. It had a taster. It was fun while it lasted, but it really likes to go back to this like humble, poor. I just can't emphasize that enough. It just keeps coming through.
So let's look at one of the most famous lifetimes that Emma Hemming Willis and Bruce Willis had together, not as Bruce Willis, but before. And what was their lifetime like? What kind of struggles did they have then? And did she still have the same personality of this neurotic worry person?
Um, I mean, yeah, I feel like that's a personality that is emanating from the soul. They're always like hyper focused on their children, which is great. He was always busy with his hands, building, making, farm. I mean, I just see it's like a regular life. I mean, not no arguing that I can see, like very just happy, but a lot of hard work. She did a lot of hard work, washing, baking, cooking. There was no electricity. The house that he built was very, you know, ramshackle. It was cold. There wasn't much heating. Um, you know, it really was very difficult.
All right, moving back to this lifetime, the Bruce Willis incarnation and his connection to Demi Moore. What is their connection together in a past life? And what is she feeling about his present situation?
So with Demi Moore, they definitely have some karmic debt. So what was the karmic debt? She owed him karmic debt. So when we say she owed him karmic debt, does that mean that in this lifetime it's his detriment? No, in this lifetime it was her detriment. They just
Hemming
did
fame.
not get along, and um to be honest, like it was very difficult. He was difficult. Um you have to be, yes, you could be neurotic like his current wife, but you also have to be quite passive. Whereas the two of them were, you know, they're both highly skilled actors,
Hmm.
individuals, notoriety. It's you know, there was no room for that in the relationship. It was too difficult because they both need someone who is passive. So Demi Moore needed someone who was extremely passive that's just going to let her shine, and Bruce Willis needed someone who was extremely passive that was just going to let him shine and do their work. Like
How does
somebody needed to be home, and for the two of them nobody was really home.
It's actually called frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, not to be confused with the flower company. How does she feel about Bruce's condition now? And what does she feel like? Man, I really dodged a bullet there, or how is she feeling about him?
How do you feel about? No, no, no. She feels extremely sad. And again, wishes there was something she can do, but this is all beyond their control.
Is this something that could have been diagnosed early on with an MRI? Do we have the technology now to, either halt this or reverse this or slow this down?
Could this be slowed down? No, no. Do we have the technology? No. Will we have the technology in the future? Yes. So we will have some major medical breakthroughs in the future. So is it the fact that is it early diagnosis that stops, or is it preventative? Not really. Um, but we are going to have technology that rewires the brain and stimulates the brain and wakes up parts of the brain. But this is way out in the future. We're nowhere close to that as far as I can see.
Has Demi gone through like any life lessons of forgiveness for whatever trouble they had in their relationship? And what's her interaction like with Bruce and the family now?
I mean, he doesn't really recognize her. I mean, he looks at her face and it's like, yeah, you look familiar, but I have no idea who you are, right? No, this is all just very sad. And she she forgave him a long time ago, long before this happened. To give them both credit where credit is due, they learned to get along for the sake of their children.
Hmm.
They just, they were like, well, we both have to be in this world, so we may as well get along. We just don't get along being married.
How is
So,
Rumor doing with the
mhm.
struggle of her dad?
I'm sorry.
How is Rumor doing? I think that's on the left. Rumor Willis. How's she coping?
Oh, this is a disaster. This is a nightmare. It's her worst nightmare. She's scared. But there will be some relief when they hate seeing him like this when he passes. Um, do they have another child? Yeah, they do
There's a
that.
third girl.
Another
Yeah.
one is very spiritual.
Or is it here? Um, Children, five. They're not telling me all the kids. There.
Hmm.
Yes. How is she coping with it? Scout.
Scout. How's she coping with it? I mean, they're just, they're taking it one day at a time, but they know that this is not going to go on forever. She's actually saying that it's okay to leave, is what I'm getting. She'll send him messages like that, telepathically, or, as you do if you're like sending the ho'oponopono or something across to another person. She'll say, it's okay. It's okay for you to leave. You don't have to hang on for us.
Well, it's certainly a terrible tragedy for us looking at it from the outside, but I can't imagine the struggle that the family is going through. So maybe a question for the healthcare workers that are now helping Bruce Willis.
Mm,
How is their day-to-day activity? I don't think we know them by name, but
no. No, but I can group them as an entity.
yeah,
So how
what's
is
their
the
role
data?
within the care and how is he doing? Do they see glimpses of what they think are acknowledgement?
Do you see glimpses of what you think are acknowledgement? Not really. Like he will smile. They do treat him very, very well. Um, they obviously look up to him. They try to remind him of who he is and how much they love him, but it's really just going in one ear and out the other. It's not being absorbed. He can't process it.
So if they were to play for him Die Hard, the greatest Christmas movie ever made, would he recognize himself on the screen?
Oh, would he recognize himself on the screen? Sadly, no.
Oh, man.
Hmm.
How does the care team work on communication? If he's sort of losing his personality and not able to communicate, is he compliant in their request? Or because in Alzheimer's, people become a little bit more combatant. So I don't know what this FTD does.
Is he combatant? No, he's not combatant at all. He's just, unfortunately, he's just kind of staring. Um, it's sad. Is he mobile? I mean, I do feel he is, but he's losing his mobility. Um, yeah.
Or-
So will what happens eventually to the organs? Do they forget how to function? I'm getting a no. I'm not getting that the organs forget how to function. It's just that the brain isn't able to, in the end, operate as a feedback loop, right? So you have to constantly send and receive messages to all the organs and all the systems around the body, and that's just like barely hanging on. And that feedback loop is going to, eventually just shut down.
And there's nothing that can be done, any supplements that can be given, any other nutrition or high protein that would help,
Is there
fish
anything
oil.
No.
Are they giving me any type of those things in hope, or do they not have that?
Do they give him any of those supplements? And I mean, I feel like they do. He, they everything that he does consume is very highly nutritious. But he doesn't eat very much at all. They remind him to eat. Do you have to? I feel like they have to feed him, and they give him, high nutrition, very nutritional things. But how many? He may have a few bites, and that's it. Has he lost his ability to taste food? I'm getting a yes. Like there's been some where you have your taste buds and they're very sensitive, and I feel that some of those taste buds have desensitized, so it doesn't taste like what it used to. Because I feel he used to love food. Like not that he was an overeater or anything like that, but some people really take a lot of pleasure in eating, high quality food. And he was one of those people. And it's all very sad that he's not getting the same sensations from food.
Yeah, I wondered if this was an opportunity to give this more of a face so that maybe more research goes into it. And then like long term, is there anything this can do for people on the Earth plane, this having Bruce Willis get FTD?
Is there anything that people can do on the earth plane having Bruce Willis so to prevent getting the FTD? It's really down to clean eating, detoxing, drinking water, the same old, no processed food, no processed meats, keep meat to a minimum.
Sounds
Um,
terrible.
yeah, I know you love your meat.
Yeah,
Wash your
ribs right here.
vegetables. Yeah. Wash your vegetables and fruit thoroughly.
Right.
Make sure you're
Watch
getting the micronutrients.
broccoli sprouts. Everyone should be growing their own broccoli sprouts too, probably. This is Mabel Ray Lewis, his daughter with his newest wife. Does she understand what's happening to her father? Is she too young to see the
Yes.
degradation of his mental cognitive decline?
Do you understand what's happening? And I mean, she does. They have tried to explain it to her. But does she fully understand? Does she have the full, comprehension? No.
Mm. Is she aware that Die Hard is the greatest Christmas movie ever made?
Are you aware that Die Hard is the greatest Christmas movie ever made? No.
Oh, she'll have to learn that, I guess, eventually. Um, does his mother, I guess, Marlene Willis, who's now, I believe, is she, what does she think about this condition and about what's happened to him now? This is in 2022, so I'm not sure if she's still with us or not.
Condition or what has happened? I mean, it's very sad. It's distressing for her. But again, it's just there's nothing that can be done. I mean, I feel that they've all fought very, very hard. I do feel that. I mean, tremendously. They have fought, they have researched, they have tried everything, possible to help him, to stop this, to reverse it. It's like everybody's rallied around him and they're all defeated.
That was another great movie there, Hudson Hawk. Um, it is very sad, and it is, just unfair, we feel like, to see this happen to someone.
Mm.
What does it do for our soul contracts then that he's developed with his fans? And, because well, let's say, what does that do karmically to us, the Bruce Willis fans, to see him and have sympathy and sadness for his condition?
Well, the lesson in it is it makes us all very aware of the condition. It makes us sympathize with people that have family members that go through this. It makes us research. It makes us, how do we avoid it for ourselves? How do we keep our brains active and healthy? Not that that could have saved him here. Now we know why this happened, but it certainly raised awareness around the world. And even though this is a very negative thing, obviously, there's a lot of positives that come out of it with regards to millions and millions of people being made aware of this condition.
And will this help research in the area of FTD?
So, research in the area. Yes, the family, once he passes, they will become strong advocates and, and philanthropists to donating money, obviously, to this research. They are going to really start a campaign of awareness. They're not going to stop just with his passing. The cause will still live on.
Well, I just, it's hard for me to wrap my head around why a soul would try to make that decision. So does does the soul recognize, does it still think that this was a grand plan and a wonderful idea?
Do you still think that this was a grand plan and wonderful idea? I mean, as far as like the what it wanted to pursue, the agenda, it did what it said it was going to do, right?
What
But
is
the
this?
soul, sorry, the soul does realize that this is not a fun way to live out the rest of the life. I don't think it wants to repeat it ever again.
What is the soul's decision on fame and fortune from a soul point of view?
What is your decision on fame? Doesn't want to do that again either. Doesn't like false and fake people and a fake vibe, and it really likes very genuine people with genuine emotions who aren't trying to use and abuse others. Doesn't it's not like a networking system. It's genuine friendships. The soul likes genuine family relationships. So as far as like being Bruce Willis on a soul level, it just sees that most of the relationships in the business were just false.
Is it talking about the profession of acting in general, or that's the nature of the social circles in acting?
Both. So the social circles and the profession. It's just so phony. Everybody wants to be your best friend, but they're all ready to stab you in the back, right?
Well, I
I
think
mean,
that's
not
the case with
everyone,
everything.
but right, but not everyone. I mean, of course, there were some genuinely nice people, but the soul is saying those people, they don't last very long out there. They get eaten up alive out in a place like that by the people that are extremely ambitious, who will do whatever it takes to get ahead, if even if that means stabbing you in the back. That's the type of atmosphere that the soul really dislikes. But obviously it wanted to experience it. But definitely going back to humble lifestyle.
I wanted to ask the soul if it can give any guidance for other souls who might choose this illness as a departure path.
Excuse me. Would you recommend this to others? I mean, the soul is saying, well, yeah, I would recommend it to others if this is what they want to achieve. The soul is saying, who am I to pass judgment? People or souls want to choose whatever they like. It's not for me to judge. I can empathize with their suffering, but there's no judgment.
How about for the people surrounding those family members?
With the people surrounding his family members. Well, they would have signed up to it as well. And to be put through the ringer with someone who is experiencing this. I mean, there are a lot of emotions that go on with the families that are, have a family member that has Alzheimer's or dementia. The suffering, again, his family rallied round. They all were fighting for the cause, and they went through so many emotions. They had to, um, in the end, they had to accept defeat. That was very difficult for them.
Well, Liz, I wanted to thank you for this exciting probe to find out the reason behind Bruce Willis's diagnosis. It's
Mm,
difficult for us out here, and if you know anybody, has these problems, our heart goes out to you, and we hope that you can get the
yeah.
help and support that you need to go through this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel terrible for him, the family, and anybody out there that is having to deal with this because, of course, they have now made this difficult decision to put him into a care facility. Well, that was heart-wrenching. Nobody wants to make that decision. everybody wants to care for their loved one as long and as much as they possibly can. They don't want to be forced into, this type of decision, but they had to. And they're almost like, even some of the family members are saying, we'll never forgive ourselves for having to do this. We should have been stronger. We should have been this, we should have been that. But actually, for safety and his own interest, his best interest, sorry, it was necessary for him to go into this type of place where they're professionals and experts at dealing with this. Yeah, it's a shame, but
Let us
nobody
know
wants to do
what
that.
your favorite Bruce Willis movie is in the comments section below. And our heart goes out to the family and each one of you out there going through
Yeah,
something similar.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Reality, for putting this probe together for us. It was interesting. Thank you.
See you next time.